We usually measure a dead civilization by its ruined buildings. In the Tamil Shaivite tradition, however, a town is considered dead if it falls silent. If there are no conches blowing, no flags flying, and no hands picking flowers for morning worship, that settlement is already a ruin. The 7th century saint Thirunavukarasar, known as Appar, wrote in the 6th Thirumurai that a settlement without a temple is not a town at all. He called it an Adavi Kadu, an impassable, dark jungle inhabited only by wild beasts. Appar took this logic a step further, aiming it directly at the human body. He posed a sharp rhetorical question. What is the actual purpose of having legs if they are never used to walk the path around a sacred space? He followed that immediately with another. What utility do human hands have if they never physically offer flowers to the divine? In this bhakti tradition, existence demands motion. Without the active physical pursuit of grace, human anatomy is entirely useless, a barren form waiting to be activated. We see this philosophy manifested perfectly in the life of another revered saint, Thirunyanasambanthar. At merely 3 years old, this child experienced a profound divine vision and immediately used his physical voice to belt out his very first hymn. Following a divine call to the temple of Thirukalaka, the toddler began singing again. To keep the rhythm of his complex verses, he clapped his bare hands together, striking them over and over until they were red and in obvious pain. The physical toll of this worship triggered an immediate response. Lord Shiva intervenes specifically to protect the child's small hands from further damage. The deity presents the boy with a physical gift, a pair of golden cymbals known as palam. This divine instrument perfectly replaces the agonizing clapping of his bare skin. The divine does not observe from a distance. When human anatomy is pushed to its limits in the act of worship, the universe reacts with tangible physical manifestations. As Sambanthar grew, he continued to test the limits of his physical form. During the scorching summer months, a season known as Mutuveil, he undertook a grueling journey to the temple of Patiswaram. Here, he was directly answering Appar's question about the utility of human legs. He was actively using them to cross a punishing, sun-baked landscape to reach the sacred site. Recognizing his toll, the divine responds architecturally. Shiva dispatches attendants to carry a massive pearl canopy, shielding the child. At the temple, the sacred bull Nandi blocked the inner sanctum. Honoring his exhausting journey, Shiva commands Nandi to step aside, granting an unobstructed view. When you utilize your physical body for a spiritual journey, you force the universe to move physical obstacles out of your way. This sequence of events brings us straight back to the teachings of Appar, specifically his writings in the 5th Thirumurai. The physical acts of singing, clapping, and walking miles through the heat are never framed as empty rituals. They are deliberate, mechanical processes designed to trigger profound internal transformation. Appar explains this mechanic clearly. If you seek out the divine, dance, and sing, the result is Odipom Namatu ila Vinigale. The deep-rooted karmas and internal burdens that weigh you down will rapidly flee. Contrast this with the Adavi Kadu. A life lived passively remains a dark, impenetrable forest, but a life lived actively, where the body is put to work in pursuit of grace, achieves total spiritual clarity. A temple is a living machine, and worship requires sweat and bone. It is an active, physical necessity, the precise mechanism required to bridge the gap between human anatomy and divine grace.